Hello, everybody. This is Ryan Koki of the Seahawks Recap Show, and welcome to the playoff game recaps for the 2023-2024 season. And we just finished the two wild card games for Saturday, and it was a very impressive first game, Houston versus the Browns. I wanted the Browns to win because I just wanted Joe Flacco to win. I wanted that storyline, but we got a lot more than we bargained for in this game. So let's get into the recap. And this is why we, as football fans, love the playoffs. I am a Seahawks fan, but since the Seahawks aren't out, I get to watch some football without any real bias. It was a 45-14 win for the Texans. They advance to the divisional round and they really put up a fight. Let's get into the Houston Texans stats. They had 356 total yards, 280 passing yards, 76 rushing yards. They averaged 8.1 yards per play, had 14 first downs. They went 2 for 8 on third down. They didn't go for it on fourth down. They had 44 total plays, 0 sacks allowed, 4 punts, 3 penalties for 20 yards given up, 0 fumbles, and 0 interceptions with 24 minutes and 34 seconds of possession time. For the Cleveland Browns, they had 324 total yards, 268 passing yards, 56 rushing yards, averaged 4.6 yards per play, 18 first downs. They went 7 for 15 on third down. They went 0 for 4 on fourth down, so they just couldn't get it going on fourth down. They had 70 total plays, 4 sacks allowed, 4 punts, 4 penalties for 32 yards given up, 0 fumbles, and 2 interceptions by Joe Flacco. They were both pick sixes, and they had 35 minutes and 26 seconds of possession time. For Ryan's focus players, let's talk about CJ Stroud. What a night for him it was. 16 for 21, 274 yards passing, 3 touchdowns, 0 interceptions. CJ Stroud, a rookie coming into this, and you look at what I thought was going to happen. I thought, CJ Stroud was going to have a little bit of anxious moments with the crowd, being in the playoffs for the first time, being the franchise QB for the Texans. It looks like, he's been playing for years out there. Watching him sling the ball effortlessly into this playoff game was just so impressive. I can't say enough about CJ Stroud, and he did a really fantastic job. Tight ends, wide receivers. Nico Collins was a great wide receiver in this game. It's just amazing to see what CJ Stroud can do in the playoffs, and I hope he continues this form. But we get to the running back, and it's Devin Singletary, 13 carries, 66 yards, averaged 5.1 yards per carry, 1 touchdown. Devin Singletary, man, he controlled this game. Great to see Devin Singletary after leaving the Bills from free agency, going into a team where he's really wanted, and he can be a very good back, despite Damian Pierce, their starting running back, being out. Devin Singletary did do a lot in this game, so good game from him. And we get to the wide receiver. It's Nico Collins, 6 receptions, 96 yards, averaged 16 yards per reception, and 1 touchdown. Nico Collins was the favorable target from CJ Stroud, and you can understand why. Nico Collins has been a very underrated wide receiver for the Texans for a bit now. He's always there. He'll always show up in games, and right now in the biggest game of CJ Stroud's career and of the Houston Texans right now, looking at this wild card going into the future, he was really electrifying to see on the field. Next up, let's talk about the counterparts, and it was the Browns in this instance. 38-year-old Joe Flacco. Let's talk about him for a second. 34 for 46, averaged 370 yards, one touchdown to Kareem Hunt, a receiving touchdown, and two interceptions that led to pick sixes. And honestly, for Joe Flacco, just getting in to the playoffs was a miracle for him. Leading the Browns into the playoffs was a miracle. But the two interceptions, the two pick sixes, he did have problems down the stretch with interceptions. I think he had eight, if I remember correctly, in his 5 games, I believe, that he played for the Browns. So that was a problem. But again, the guy is 38. What do you want him to do? He tried his heart out there. He at least gave 307 passing yards at 38. So when he was sitting on his couch in November. So um, although Joe Flacco lost this game, a decent game from him, all things considered. And another decent game from running back Kareem Hunt, 8 carries, 27 yards, averaged 3.2 yards per carry, one rushing touchdown, had 5 receptions for 9 yards, averaged 1.8 yards per reception, and had the one receiving touchdown. He gets all the points for the Browns in this one. And honestly, stats don't look great, but considering what the Browns have gone through, considering how they were playing, um, I would have liked to see a little bit more fight from them, but considering um Kareem Hunt was coming in, they were missing a bunch of their players. They're on like their sixth offensive tackle, in this season. They're down their fifth starting QB for their season. Um, I wasn't expecting much from the Browns. I just wish they played a little better. And let's get to the wide receiver or tight end in this case, David Njoku. What a game from him. 7 receptions, 93 yards, averaged 13.3 yards per reception, 0 touchdowns. And Kevin Stefanski, I don't know what it was with him in this game, but because of the quarterback that Joe Flacco is, he was using him a lot more in the passing game kind of offensive style, and he was using a lot of tight ends. Bryant was in there, I forget his first name, but David Njoku, uh, Harrison Bryant, I believe, is his first name, but these tight ends were really the main pass catchers for the Browns in this game, and it didn't work out for Kevin Stefanski and the Browns in the playoffs. But let's get to the Texans defense. Will Anderson Jr., 2 solo tackles, 1 assisted, 1 sack, 0 forced fumbles. And man, CJ Stroud and Will Anderson Jr., those will be names for the Texans that we will be saying for a very, very long time if this keeps up. And I have all the faith in these guys that this Texans team is going to be something special, and I can't wait to see what they do for the rest of the playoffs, because Will Anderson, his stats don't look great, but he's able to get in there for pressure. He was able to collapse the pocket on Joe Flacco, who's basically, a statue in the pocket, can't really run as much as you'd expect a 38-year-old to do. But Will Anderson just had a great game. And let's talk about DB Steven Nelson. 4 solo tackles, 1 assisted, 0 sacks, and the one pick six. This was a very good game for Steven Nelson. Just anticipation on this defense. This defense came to play today, and it was so nice to see. Um, you know, that Steven Nelson, he did great in this game. Tackling machine, got an impact play on defense. What more can you ask from a D'Amico Ryan run defense? And let's talk about linebacker Christian Harris, another guy, another tackling machine. This defense really played well. 7 solo tackles, 1 assisted, 0 sacks, 1 pick six. And again, 14 points scored on defense. And it's really nice to see everything was clicking for the Texans in this one. Good to see from the Texans defense. For the Browns defense, this was a bit of a slip and slide for them. They're not good on the road. We knew that coming in. They were bottom half. I think they were third worst in road statistics, yards allowed and all that. And it really shows on the road that the Browns defense really couldn't do much. I gave it to Myles Garrett for the D line award because honestly, he's their best player. And he was going up against Laramie Tunsil, the left tackle of the Houston Texans, the all-pro left tackle. And, Myles Garrett just was shut down in this game, nullified, got 2 solo tackles and 1 assisted, 0 sacks, 0 forced fumbles. But with how prolific Myles Garrett is of a player when he's not getting going, in the pass rush department, you gotta tip your hat to the Texans for not allowing any sacks in this game, but, man, when your defense just can't get going with the pressure, you're not gonna have a good time. But let's talk about DB Juan Thornhill, 3 solo tackles, 0 sacks, 0 interceptions, but Thornhill could have had an interception in the beginning of the game. On the first drive, I believe, in the game, it was a really nice anticipated pass into what was looking like single coverage with Nico Collins. And you go and CJ Stroud throws it up to what he believes is a wide open receiver. And Thornhill just comes down with great anticipation and tries to pick off that pass, turning single coverage into double coverage within an instant. And that's what a safety can do. When you read the quarterback's eyes, that's what you can do. And the anticipation by this Browns defense was actually really impressive. I just wish they could put up more of a fight. But after the second half came into the game, it just looked like a runaway train for the Texans. But I want to get to another guy that I really love on this Browns team, and it's Jeremiah Owusu Koromoa, or JOK. 8 solo tackles, 1 assisted, 0 sacks, 0 interceptions. And the broadcast and myself could not just stop saying his name. Honestly, every single tackle in this game was made by JOK, and it was just insane to watch. So, even though his stats aren't great, this guy is a monster at the linebacker position. And if he can just keep anticipating where people are going to go with the football, he could get some big time plays going, and he got a lot of tackles against Devin Singletary in this one. But for my final thoughts of the game and my thoughts on the game, congrats to CJ Stroud and the rest of the Houston Texans for winning this game. It's on to the divisional round for you guys. I wish you all the luck going forward and can't wait to see what you do next week because you guys are a really fun team to watch. Brevin Jordan, man, tight end for the Houston Texans. The one catch that he had for like 76 yards, the amount of speed, the amount of elusiveness that guy shows on the field. He got one of those touchdowns from CJ Stroud, and it was an insane kind of catch. And you look at the amount of heart that the Houston Texans play with right now under D'Amico Ryan. D'Amico Ryan is a heck of a rookie head coach, and he knows how to build a defense, and he's turned this team around. And I can't wait to see what happens with Houston because the future looks really bright for them. For Cleveland, even though you guys got blown out, I'm still actually really proud of you guys for making the playoffs after all the adversity you guys have faced. Like I said, even in a blowout, you're looking at a Joe Flacco who's 38 years old, was on his couch in November. He was on his couch for the majority of the season. November, he gets a call up from the Cleveland Browns, who are missing 4 QBs because of injury. That's Deshaun Watson, that's PJ Walker, that's also Dorian Thompson Robertson, who they signed to be the backup to Deshaun Watson. They all go down with injuries, and Joe Flacco has to come off of this couch and play in a team that he's never played in before. Everybody embraces him with open arms, and he comes in, leads the Browns to the playoffs, and honestly, he's 38, man. What were you expecting? Were you expecting the Browns to come in and wipe the floor with the Texans after CJ Stroud has put only 5 interceptions up in turnovers for the entire season? That guy's electric. That guy is mental. So it was going to be a tough task on the road, and we all knew it. I wanted the Browns to win, and I kind of expected the Browns to win, but come on. Like, let's be realistic here with the amount of injuries that they had, with the amount of tackles that they had to go through this season. It just is what it is. So, all in all, it was a great game to see, and, that's it for the first game of the wild card for this Saturday. I hope you enjoyed this, blowout. Even if you are a Browns fan, you have to be happy with how the team performed in the regular season. It just sucks the way it ended, but that's how playoffs go. Anyways, this is Ryan Koki for the Seahawk Recap Show, recapping the 2023-2024 playoff game recaps. Hope you enjoyed, and I will see you in the next one. Go Hawks, go, and I'll see you in game 2.